Good days and good morning, club, everyone. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude, appreciation to Paras for inviting me to join the session on the stage today, club. So, thank you for creating this space for meaningful dialogues about the future of destination communities and the travel industry that we all here care deeply about. Uh, So I'm very excited today. So normally I don't speak without script, with script. So I speak without script, but now today allow me to speak with script. So I just wanna make sure that I deliver the message, the right message, as much as possible to the or the industry expert here in the room. So we localize as a social enterprise. We began by developing a small communities, northern community, actually right here in Chiang Rai into tourism destinations. We continue our journey to a more charming and even challenging destinations. For example, developing a slum community in Bangkok to be a tourism destination, and also one of the deep south community, those who at the beginning really don't want to work with us because they're afraid of risking their life into the tourism industry and also into the unpolitical situation in the deep south of Thailand. And now they open their destination as one of the tourism destination in the south of Thailand. So over 15 years, we have grown into Thailand community-based tourism companies offering authentic sustainable experience that immerse you in the cultures and natures and way of life of the locals. So today, with this topic of how to showcase hyper locals, I would like to begin with this question, one that represents the deepest challenge in the community-based tourism today. Travel long for real, authentic experiences, but how can we showcase them without eroding these very souls of our own countries? We are witnessing a clear shift in global market travel trends. International travelers, of course, they are seeking for micro experiences. From here, like hyper locals, from our definition, is mean like very local. That's something that is very authentic. Small but profound moments, such as learning a centuries old craft from an artisan, visiting a local market at dawn, or simply experiencing the rhythms of everyday life with a local family. But this trend brings a paradox. Once the daily life becomes something that we intentionally present, it risks turning into a performance. Once an artisan become a show point, they risk losing their sense of identities. And this is what we call state authenticity. Uh, One of the things that international travelers tell us that they didn't like the most, because they are not here to watch the shows. They are here to truly know us and what should we do. This question, this paradox, actually is what Localite are trying to solve, and that's why we continue our works until 15 years now. As a social enterprise, we believe that tourism is not a tool to turn community into products, but rather it's a tool to preserve their spirit. So for us, hyperlocal means the delicate truth behind all the visible layers, the story behind a dish, the wrinkle or scars on the hands of an artisan, the laughter echoing through a morning market. This is what we aspire to showcase without destroying it. In many tourism models, communities have been treated like a human zoo, of course, sometimes, a photo backdrop where travelers alive, observe, capture, and live. This is no connection, no empathy, or no understandings. Of course, this is happening now in Thailand, in certain community in Thailand right now, that they want to take an opportunity from tourism, but they don't know how to do so. So I would like to challenge all of us here to take or to choose a different approach. Let's shift the entire dynamics. Travelers are not king, but how can we serve travelers as a guest or even a student for local communities. Community are not a performer, but rather how can they be a host or even a teacher. When you arrive as a guest, you bring respect, you listen, you learn, you don't come expecting to be served. This mindset alone become our first layer of protections against the erosion of community spirit. So travelers who visit local communities don't simply watch a weaver at work, but they learn from a master herself. When the relationship changes, tourism transforms from a show into a shared learning journeys. This is what we really want to make it happen and make sure that the spirits are there. So how do we showcase hyper locals experiences while protecting their souls? Here's the course of our approach, our four-step process. This is the process that at local life we are trying to work with local communities and making sure that their spirit is there and their soul is not like distorting or along the way. So the first one is we co-discover with them to identify the true identity of the communities. We don't begin by asking what can we sell, but rather we began by asking them what are they proud of, what are the things that you proud of. We listen deeply, we map emotions, we look for real micro experiences that already exist in their daily lives. And more importantly, the community design what they want to show, to share, and which space that are prohibited and off limits. Because some places belong only to the communities and we don't to cross the line, and we must honor that. The second step is we co-design with them. We turn real life into experiences without altering its souls. So this is it seems like simple, but it's not really that simple. It's very difficult. We don't invent things. We're trying to not to invent things into the communities, but we curate what already exists. This is some of an example that I can share. Travelers want to explore the morning market. The might not so good way is that like we're trying to close off the market and state the vendors and ask them to smile for the photos. But the way that we should do is like to bring travelers as a helpers, to carry the basket for the martyrs and stop and shop alongside with the locals and return home to cook breakfast together with the martyrs who bring us to the markets. So doing this way, we can make sure that travelers don't observe life from behind the glass, but take part in it. Step 3 is we set capacities. We believe always that a small number but deeper meanings. The quickest ways to destroy identity is mass volume. We all know that. But how do we believe in and making this happen over like the benefit returns of the money that we all gain? So making sure that small group but high impacts. We limit the numbers of travelers per sessions to respect the community rhythms and ensure that there are depth of connections. This approach attacks international travelers who seek exclusivity and authenticity, people who are willing to pay more for what is real. And the last step is that storytelling, which is the most important part. We're trying to make sure with the local that they're selling the truth, not the fantasies. So this is the commercial part. We believe we don't sell an exaggerate image of a village, but we share the story behind it. For example, we don't sell a weaving workshop, but rather we share a chance to learn a very we sell a very chance to learn ancient pattern from the last master who still remember how to do it. So truth and urgent are very powerful. They are more of the hearts of international travelers, far more than state perfection ever views. So this is the 4 step that we usually take approach when we design the community's experiences and design the customer experiences as well. So let's return to the question we began with, like how can we showcase hyper-local experiences without eroding their souls? At local, right, our answer is quite simple: by turning tourism into a source of income that actively fund the preservation of identity. When an artisan who once thought of quitting gain more students, more tourists, and more recognitions and income, they return with pride, and the students begin to see value in their legacies. When a quiet morning market gets revived because of traveler join a local auntie to the shop, cash begins circulating again, and traditional stay alive. For us, hyperlocal is not a trend. It is the most fragile asset of the communities and the way to protect its souls and to give it values through tourism that have a very deep respect into it. So, and thank you for having local light shares our way of work and to showcase hyper local. Together, I believe that we can prove that tourism can still protect, preserve, and enrich local identities, and we should to do it when if we should to do it in the right ways. And local light in the past 15 years, we kind of understand that when going into the communities, trying to work with them to showcase their selves as a tourism destination is not enough. Of course, we have a community-based tourism model, and we're trying to bring them more knowledge to them to move from community-based tourism to sustainable tourism or even regenerative tourism, which is a trend now. But we cannot ignore the parts of they doing business. But what kind of business that they can do without destroying themselves? We believe that the model of social enterprise in the community is necessary. So nowadays, localize is just not focusing on the tourism part of it. We also focusing on the business side of it, making sure that the local community they know how to do it in the wrong one, in a more transparency ways, and of course to make sure that the young generation they see it sexy enough to come back and work in the village after all. Thank you so much, ครับ